So after being away for 15 days in Europe, I'm finally back home and finally ready to tell you guys about how crazy this trip really was. My first adventure was meeting up with my friends in a place called Skarabæk, which is on the west side of Denmark. There was a LEGO convention going on, and there were some pretty great creations. After the Skarabæk convention, I made my way up to Billund, Denmark, the LEGO headquarters, and attended something called LEGO Fan Media Days. There was a LEGO Star Wars panel, I got a chance to meet Hans, the designer of the Venator, and got him to sign my instruction booklet, and we also got a chance to look at some upcoming LEGO sets. Can't talk about that though. Now, while Fan Media Days is a lot of fun to attend if you're a LEGO ambassador, it is not free. You have to pay your own way to go to Denmark. After about a weekend of the trip, me and some friends went down into Germany and Austria on an absolutely crazy road trip where I had the chance to finally see the Austrian and German Alps, which were absolutely breathtaking and definitely something I want to come back to one day. By this point, it had already been 10 days into the trip, but I had met some incredible people like Tiago and Marcus from Brickcrafts, and we also had a chance to go to Legoland Germany, which has one of the best pick-a-brick selections I've ever seen in my entire life. Highly recommend. So while Skarabæk, Fan Media Days, and road tripping in Europe was an absolute blast, there was a bigger reason why I was in Europe. It was to go to the LEGO Inside Tour. So I got to imagine a lot of you have probably never heard of the LEGO Inside Tour, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an inside tour of the LEGO headquarters, the LEGO factory, the LEGO house, and we're going to go through all of that. There's going to be 8 tours in 2024, there was 6 in 2023, and the sign-up period is happening right now, so after you watch this video, if you want to go on the inside tour, well, you can sign up down below. Now, this is a paid tour, and for 2024, it's going to be 22,000 Danish kroner per person. When you convert that, that turns into $3,100 US, making it the most expensive item, thing, service that you can buy from LEGO directly. On top of that incredibly expensive price, there's also a limited number of seats. There's going to be 8 tours in 2024, for example, and each tour has 35 people, meaning that there's only 280 slots. Now, I originally signed up in 2021, and as you can see from this email that I received from LEGO, there was 1,700 entries, meaning that you only have a 16% chance of getting selected for the LEGO Inside Tour. You also might notice that I was supposed to go in 2022, but I ended up delaying my trip to 2023. So now I finally have the chance to show you guys what the $3,000 LEGO Inside Tour is like.
Matthew.
So I didn't go in it alone. I had Matt from the Brick Wiz join alongside me on this adventure, which starts at the Legoland Hotel in Billund, Denmark. I gotta say, the breakfast at the hotel was pretty good, and you do get 3 nights included when you pay that $3,000. It's also worth noting that Matt and I signed up 2 years ago, and at the time it was only $2,000, so that pricing that you're seeing today is because of inflation. If you ever get the chance to visit Billund, Denmark, the home of the brick as they call it, you'll quickly realize it's a pretty small town and it's fairly easy to walk around. So we start at the LEGO house inside this little side room, kind of secret from the rest of the LEGO house, which I thought was kind of cool. We were the 5th tour group of 6 for 2023, so that's why it says LIT number 5. After everybody got to know each other, there's 35 people inside this tour group, we all walked across the street to the first kind of exclusive part of this trip, which is something called the LEGO Idea House. So this specific building is not open to the public. In fact, it's built for employees only. So we're getting very special access into the LEGO Idea House, which is pretty cool. The first part of this place basically showcased the full history of the LEGO group, including all of its ups and downs. Definitely one of the coolest parts is seeing this cool LEGO Star Wars poster, and there was even this cool LEGO Star Wars side room, which was incredibly decorated. It had hanging LEGO Star Wars sets, and it also had some really cool models on display. I absolutely love the shelving here. I kind of want to recreate this myself one day, and they even had this one area where if you look at the bottom floor, you might notice a certain silhouette. Next up is something you've probably heard of or may have seen from other YouTube channels, which is something called the Vault. Basically, this place houses one of every single LEGO set ever made. It's pretty much a LEGO fan's dream room. It's nostalgia heaven. Here's the 1999 original LEGO Star Wars wave. Like, it just is a mind-blowing experience going inside this place. Matt and I both went down memory lane going back to our childhoods of our favorite LEGO sets. We had an absolute blast, and it was an absolute joy to also finally hold a sealed copy of the Cafe Corner. So for reasons beyond me, even though previous YouTubers could take video of the Vault, now you can only take photos. So in regards to that, I found a little loophole where I just used the photo setting on my camera and put it in its high speed mode and just took rapid fire photos to recreate what you're seeing right now, which is little miniature videos. There's no sound here, but at least you can see my reaction to pulling out some of my favorite LEGO Star Wars sets. Hopefully LEGO doesn't get mad at me. These are genuine photos here, so I'm not really technically breaking their policy, but man, guys, pulling out some of these LEGO Star Wars sets, like the Death Star, like the very first LEGO Star Wars set from my childhood, which is the 2006 Imperial Star Destroyer, like the $8,000 LEGO Cloud City. Even though we had about an hour to spend inside the Vault, that quickly went by, and I was really sad to say goodbye. There was also an empty area in the Vault for future decades of LEGO sets to come, which was pretty cool to see. After crying our hearts out from seeing all of our childhood sets from the Vault, we went over to the LEGO house to grab some lunch, which was pre-made for us, and as you can see, these little LEGO robots kind of serve it out to you, which I thought was pretty cool. After that, we went back to the LEGO house where they revealed that we were going to be building a LEGO set today, and we were going to build it alongside real designers that also make the LEGO sets that you see on the shelves. The real designers, which I was kind of giddy about. I've got to hand it to the team. They had pretty much every LEGO piece you could want in these bins and trays. It was really cool to see, and all 35 of us had a chance to basically build whatever we wanted within the 2-hour time limit. The LEGO designers present were actually helping out us, the tour members, and it was pretty awesome to ask them questions and be like, hey, what do you think of this idea? Or does this piece work with this piece? In fact, I got to know Lee from the LEGO Technic team. He was an incredible guy who really helped me out with gearing. I also had the privilege of meeting and getting to build with Mike Zeike, one of the best LEGO designers at LEGO, at least in my opinion. This guy is responsible for sets like Rivendell and the Titanic, truly extraordinary LEGO sets. Really an amazing night. I was blown away. It was an honor to meet Mike. It was an honor to meet Lee. Both of these guys were incredible, and there was some real memories made that evening. And for those of you wondering, this was my creation. It was basically a terrestrial mining drill, which actually functioned when you spin the tracks. The drill itself moves, kind of like a power miner's vehicle from back in the early 2010s. I really liked this vehicle. I thought it was cool looking, and you'll find out shortly whether I won anything for it or not. Next, we move on to day 2, which was focused on the LEGO factory, how the actual LEGO bricks are made. The first part of the day was us being greeted by an actual LEGO molding designer or part designer, someone who develops the actual LEGO pieces. In fact, the person who was given the presentation was responsible for designing the 2014 LEGO Kashyyyk Trooper helmet, which I was very giddy about and thought it was an honor to be talking to this individual. Unfortunately, this presentation couldn't be recorded. Nothing could be shared about it, so that's about all I can say. After we got to see how digitally they make the pieces, we had the chance to go to the actual Lego factory just a few kilometers or miles down from the Lego house, and we got a chance to go inside the Lego factory where they actually mold the pieces. Unfortunately, Lego did inform us that the packaging aspect of Lego sets is not done in Billund anymore. It's done in the Czech Republic, so we didn't get to see how the actual Lego sets were packaged, only how the Lego pieces themselves are made. Now, Lego has a really awesome video on their own YouTube channel showing the entire process of how a Lego set gets made, how Lego minifigures get made, and that is exactly basically what I saw in person. But to my demise, when I came down the hallway, just about to enter the actual factory, the coordinator of the tour told me that I could no longer have my camera and cell phone. Nothing about this part of the tour could be recorded in any type of way. They were extremely strict about it. Hopefully one day I'll get the chance to actually bring a camera into the Lego factory. As it says on the safety sign that photography needs permission, it's not necessarily banned inside the factory. So they are building a Lego factory just a few minutes away from where I live here in Virginia in the United States. The first Lego factory here in the US is coming very soon, and maybe I'll get a chance to show you guys what that looks like when that happens. I think my biggest takeaway of having the chance to see what the real Lego factory looks like in person was that the whole process is a lot slower than you imagine. The molding machines kind of spit out Lego every couple seconds rather than rapidly every second. It is a slower than expected process, which I was surprised to see. The next part of the day was going down the street to the Lego headquarters, which I gotta say is a very cool looking building. Now, this is a place that I've been to before for fan media days, but to anybody else on this tour, this was brand new to them. Now, this next part was completely unplanned. This man right here strolling up to the group, that's Niels. That's the CEO of Lego. My general impression of him was that he was really nice, really genuine. He didn't like come off as some kind of fake CEO, I guess. He just was really happy to see us, and I had a one-on-one quick chat with him, got a picture with him as well, and well, that was a dream come true for me. Later that day, I found out that Niels doesn't visit every single Lego Inside tour group, that it's pretty much random and just sheer luck if you get the chance to meet him, which honestly just made the day that much better. The last part of the day was visiting the Lego employee shop where you get some pretty awesome discounted Lego, and then we finished it off with something called the design review, where the 7 Lego designers from the previous day now judge and critique our Lego creations and give out awards to who they thought were the best of the best. Now, I actually did get nominated for my mining vehicle that I showed you guys earlier, but unfortunately, someone else, even at my own table, ended up winning that award, which I was totally fine with. So the last day was a little bit more relaxing. It wasn't quite as tense. We weren't going to so many different places like the previous days. This was a full tour of the Lego house. Now, day 3 is actually more like a half day. You end the program, I think it was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon is when everything kind of finishes up. So it's not a full day. That's worth noting. There's no other activities after, I think it was like 2 o'clock, I want to say. So the morning was basically spent going around the Lego house, having a personalized tour of how it was made, why it's very special to the Lego group, and it definitely was really cool. However, I had been to the Lego house prior, and so it wasn't that crazy of a tour. It was just cool to see little Easter eggs that maybe you wouldn't notice unless someone pointed it out to you. My favorite of which was apparently Elon Musk's Roadster car that he threw up in space. There's a little Lego version of that in the trees, which you can spot right here, which I absolutely loved. I do have like one critique is we went on to something called the Masterpiece Gallery, which is a whole bunch of fan creations that they switch out every year. I think it would have been really cool for the tour if somehow the designers of these creations were present, or maybe there was a Zoom call with them or something like that, because upon looking at these creations, these are extraordinary Lego designs, and I would love to pick the brains of these designers. Honestly, I would be honored if one day I get the chance to display in this area. It really is the best of the best Lego builds that I've ever really seen. After that, we proceeded to go to the 4 different zones in the Lego house. These are little creative areas. They're probably a little bit more geared towards kids, but adults can definitely still have fun as well. This was probably my least favorite part of the tour, especially since I had already been to the Lego house, so none of this was exactly new to me. Obviously, my favorite part of the Lego house is the diorama section. They have these incredible builds that are constantly being changed out, so they're not always the same when you go to the Lego house. So that definitely made it a little better for me personally. But regardless, it was a fun time going around, checking out different things, seeing what was new and different about the Lego house. But again, if you've been there before, this is probably going to be the least exciting part of the trip. If you have not been to the Lego house before, then you might be more interested in it. And now we're finally coming to the end. After 3 long days of the inside tour, we've reached the end where they give a goodbye speech and then you receive the inside tour special set. These are hand numbered. These are exclusive sets. Only people on the LEGO Inside Tour can receive this, and for 2023, it was a LEGO Fire Engine. Now, you might be really nitpicky and be like, well, I can just recreate this at home. I can just order the parts off Bricklink. Well, there is exclusive prints very much prominent on this Fire Engine, so that makes it a really special set. From what I know of, there's only about 200 to 300 that are made every year, given out to the 6 different tour groups. So it's a very special and extremely limited set to get. What I'm showing right here was a pre-built one that they had to show us because pretty much everybody on the tour group wasn't planning to actually build the set. So it was cool to actually feel it in hand, see that it actually really functions. It was actually a really well-built model. This is kind of like my mini review because I don't think I'll be opening my set either. But regardless, a very, very cool set. If you know the history of LEGO, then you'll know the appreciation of the Fire Engine. And to make it a little bit more special to me, legendary LEGO Star Wars designer Hendrick was actually responsible for the Fire Engine design, which I thought was pretty cool. For those of you who don't know what the LEGO Inside Tour sets are, here's the brief little calendar showing the past decade or two of Inside Tour sets. There really has been a lot of great ones, and I think 2023 with the Fire Engine really stands out. Here's the inside of the instruction booklet. Maybe you can pause this and try to recreate the Fire Engine at home. But again, you're not going to have those exclusive prints. You're obviously not going to have the original box art, the original set, the original instructions. So this set right here is estimated to be worth at minimum $5,000 to $6,000. You heard that right. Previous Inside Tour sets usually go for that amount because they're that exclusive. And to make it even more special, they print the group picture for each tour on the back of the box, making each edition of the set that much more special. So there's a picture of me on an official LEGO product. How cool is that? Now, if I'm to make a small critique and suggestion, I gotta say I'm disappointed that the actual box art is just the sleeve that goes over this inner white box. Now, the actual box here is still sealed, so you are getting like a sealed LEGO set, but still, the price that you're paying for the tour and the value oriented with the set, I would have expected real printed box art, not just a sleeve going over another box, so that was a little disappointing to me. What is cool though is these sets are hand numbered, so I got lucky number 13 out of 60 of this batch, so I found that to be pretty sweet. However, I still ended up getting a small little dent in my box, even though I perfectly put it in my carry-on with clothes, all over this thing, making sure it was nice and cushioned. Still ended up getting some small damage there, so be careful bringing these sets back if you get the chance to get one. Now, the exclusive set isn't the only exclusive item that you get during the tour. I got a lot of different things. Now, this will vary from person to person on these tours, but for me personally, I got 4 printed unique minifigures, the highlight of which is right in the middle there with Niels, the CEO of LEGO. That's his personal business card minifigure. I also got this cool molding Billin brick that you get when you tour the factory, and I even got real plastic that they use in the molding machines prior to the actual LEGO pieces being made. And then for this specific tour, they introduced something new, an actual LEGO molding piece. This is never going to be in a LEGO set. It's exclusive to the Inside Tour. It houses a little 1x1 plate. It actually functions like a mold itself that LEGO uses, which I find to be really cool, and it's even numbered for 2023, making it even more exclusive. So who knows what this thing is worth? Maybe a couple hundred, if not $1,000. So wrapping things up, was the LEGO Inside Tour worth that insane price tag of $3,000? This is certainly not for everybody. This is for the die-hard LEGO fan that has deep pockets and that is willing to travel to Denmark. If you're that person, you will absolutely enjoy this trip. I mean, monetarily wise, you are getting a set worth like $6,000 on top of the other exclusive items that you may or may not get. So the value is there. I guess it really comes down to how crazy of a LEGO fan you really are. While this tour is certainly not for everybody, for me personally, there was experiences that happened during this that I will take with for the rest of my life, and that's worth it to me.